Well, hello guys. Today is 11/11/11. On a random side note, I really wanted to get like married on one of those days where it's like 7/7/07 or 10/10/10. You know, where it's the same number for the day, month, and year. But I was thinking like, regardless, I'm gonna make that day special. So who cares about the date of the wedding? Anyway, I'm not gonna have to worry about that for a while. I'm still too young. But I just read, sorry, this is gonna be the next video, after So This Is Love. So This Is Love was the past video I did for I Kissed Dating Goodbye, and it was for chapter 1 of the new, updated, and the latest version of I Kissed Dating Goodbye. You really, should copy yourself a copy of this. Make sure you get to read it for yourself. I mean, I Kissed Dating Goodbye sounds like a horrible book, right? But there's some stuff that I didn't agree with at first, but then kind of made sense. So check it out for yourself, and tell me what you think, your thoughts, and what you believe. I'd be really happy to hear from you guys. I also like you to read this book and tell me what you think about it. So it's I Kissed Dating Goodbye by Joshua Harris. I highly recommend it, and I believe that it's gonna help, with, commitment in relationships, and that's what's needed nowadays. But recently, I've been reading his next book, which is Boy Meets Girl. This book is really good as well. It's after he got married and he found his true love. After his I Kissed Dating Goodbye book, so it's a very good story. There's also a lot of good tips for courtship and stuff like that. I really recommend this as well. So after you read I Kissed Dating Goodbye, make sure you get Boy Meets Girl. But anyway, the second chapter of I Kissed Dating Goodbye is the little relationship principle that leads to big change. And this is a key thing. The joy of intimacy is the reward of commitment. So he gets on, in this chapter, Joshua Harris gets invited to a show called Politically Incorrect. And it's a show that has this irreverent and sharp-tongued former stand-up comic, Bill Maher. I think it's Maher. It's M-A-H-E-R. I'm just going to guess it's Maher. But he, he interviews actors, politicians, rock stars, comedians, and extremists with weird ideas, which put Joshua Harris in that category. And so this subheading called Anti-Dating Activist is talking about what happened on the show. And that's what he was called, an anti-dating activist, as the announcer put it. And talk about a weird, pretty harsh title right there. So Bill asks, like, what about a man and a woman, neither of whom wants commitment? What if both of them are just out for fun? And then, Joshua Harris asks, what's really the point? Many relationships today are exactly like the ones he describes. Two people out for a good time with no interest in anything more. Is that a problem? Does commitment need to be the goal of a romantic relationship? The answer you give is very important, and I believe that the fundamental problem with relationships today is that we've disconnected romance and commitment. Wow, and people don't realize how much it goes into relationships and how deep relationships are. And when you're just doing it for a good time, you create bonds without even knowing it, and you're awakening feelings that you really should save for your spouse. And people, there's no faithfulness in relationships, or there isn't many, especially of my peers, high school age, and they're just out for a date or a good time, or they get manipulate that person and just use it for whatever they want. And it's not exactly being faithful to that person and being loyal just because, you know, you're committed to that person. And you can't really commit to anyone until you're ready for marriage, I believe, with the possibility of marriage. Uh, I mean, how can I take care of a girl when I don't have a job, or I'm planning to go to college? If I'm in college, how am I going to be able to provide for her and nurture her and nurture that relationship with her? It's just not responsible, and it's not right. So I really believe that when you can take care of yourself, and when uh, you can have that commitment along with the intimacy, that's when you can pursue the possibility of marriage with a person and grow that relationship. Um, so this is a key part, love and faithfulness. And I'm going to read this passage. So, what we fail to see is that the intimacy we experience in our string of emotional hookups is counterfeit, and romantic passion is sweetest when it's growing out of a relationship that's deepening in devotion. The joy of intimacy is the reward of commitment. Throughout the Bible, we see that the little relationship principle is an important aspect of true love. In the Old Testament, God makes a covenant, a binding commitment, with the people of Israel so that they can know Him intimately. The institution of marriage is founded on the same principle. A man and woman become one flesh and enjoy the deepest intimacy with each other only after they've made a public promise to love each other for life. Proverbs 3 states, "Let love and faithfulness never leave you. Bind them around your neck and write them on the tablet of your heart." God wants love and faithfulness to be connected. In His plan, the personal benefits of intimate relationship, emotional or sexual, are always closely linked to self-sacrificial love and commitment to another person's long-term good. The way of sin is to try to divorce the two. In Proverbs 7, we read the seductress, who lures her victim with the author of romantic and sexual pleasures, devoid of responsibility. Come, let's drink deep of love until morning. And let's enjoy ourselves with love. Verse 18. This is how sin works. It calls us to enjoy ourselves with love without worrying about the good of others. It offers intimacy without obligation. Pursuing intimacy without commitment awakens desires, emotional and physical, that neither person can justly meet. In 1 Thessalonians 4:6, King James, the Bible calls this defrauding, ripping someone off by raising expectations but not delivering on the promise. Pastor Stephen Olford describes defrauding as arousing a hunger we cannot righteously satisfy, promising something we cannot or will not provide. Intimacy without commitment, like icing without a cake, can be sweet, but it ends up making us sick. And the next key, I think this really speaks for itself, applying the principle. As you can see, intimacy without commitment contradicts what the Bible teaches about true love. Instead of being selfless, it's being selfish. Instead of being patient, it's impatient. Instead of looking out for the ongoing good of the other person, it's focused on the needs of the moment. And this is why remembering the intimacy of the word commitment is so important. This little principle is a practical way to practice the golden rule in romance. It's deciding to do what's best for others by never asking for intimacy that you're not able to match with commitment. This is the reason I stopped dating. Not because I don't want to get married, not because I don't enjoy romance, but because I realized that I need to wait on romance until I can match my pursuit of intimacy with the pursuit of commitment. It doesn't mean I have no relationships with the opposite sex or no intimacy, but rather appropriate relationships and appropriate intimacy. I pursue friendships with girls. These relationships are dynamic and enriching. As Christians, we should never neglect or ignore relationships with the opposite sex. Do you know why? Because God tells us that as Christians, we have a built-in level of commitment to each other as brothers and sisters in Christ. 1 Timothy 5:1-2. We're family, and while there are limits to how close men and women can be in friendships, we can't shirk our responsibility to care for, encourage, and build up our brothers and sisters. But how close can we get before the relationship has to be redefined? How far can we go as friends before our hearts kick into gear? The relationship principle helps us sort through these difficult questions. We don't ask for a level of intimacy and emotional loyalty that goes beyond our true level of commitment. If we're not able to deepen in commitment and pursue the possibility of marriage, we should halt the progression of intimacy at the friendship stage. What I hope you understand is that this concept transcends the issue of whether you're officially dating someone. Obviously, going on dates and placing yourself in romantically charged settings with someone will usually accelerate the intimacy of your relationship. But you don't have to go out on a date to become inappropriately intimate. You can do that over the phone, via email, or on a group date. On a guy or girl meeting over lunch isn't the issue. The issue is whether the intimacy in your relationship is appropriate to your current level of commitment. And here's key: the best relationships are between two people who care more about each other's good than their own momentary pleasure. The little relationship principle won't make romance risk-free or foolproof, but it can guide and direct us toward healthy, God-pleasing relationships, and it can help us to obey the second great command, to love others as we love ourselves. Matthew 22:39. Well, this is the last part of the chapter, and I think I'll close with this. I remember he said something moments before the show started, and he's talking about Ben Affleck. I asked him how it felt to win an Oscar, to be famous and have his career take off. Is it what you always dream of? I asked. Yeah, I guess it is, Ben, I replied. But it comes with a price, he told me. Becoming a star changes relationships. It strains old ties. I guess you have to be careful what you wish for, he concluded. I think that's the story of our generation's pursuit of fulfillment in relationships. We wish for intimacy without obligation. We wish for sex with no strings attached. We wish for the pleasure of love with none of the work, none of the vows, none of the sacrifice. And we got it. But the results aren't what we hoped for, and we're left feeling emptier than before. The intimacy is superficial. The sex leaves us dissatisfied and hungry for something real, something true. Where is true joy? It's found in God's brand of love. Love founded on faithfulness. Love rooted in commitment. The joy of intimacy is the reward of commitment. Wow. So, hit me up with questions, message me, and I hope to make more videos for you guys. I hope this helped out in any way. And as the sun goes down, I'm signing off. Take care.